Joining us this morning, Congressman Dan Crenshaw of Texas. Congressman, thank you for being with us. The drug problem and the situation at the border is critical. It is timely, and I want to talk about that in a moment. But I do want to start with the State Department this morning releasing a warning, reemphasizing travel for Americans heading to Mexico, given the threat that the drug cartels pose. A reaction to that warning ahead of spring break travel for many Americans traveling to Mexico and elsewhere.
Yeah, it's not surprising. Look, these two topics are related, the fentanyl crisis and the Mexican drug cartels. The drug cartels facilitate the fentanyl crisis. It comes from mainly from two cartels, the Sinaloa cartel and the Jalisco cartel. So, in the past, we've looked at the drug problem very holistically. It comes from everywhere. People want drugs like cocaine and heroin. They make them feel good. They have parties with them. It's a very difficult problem to solve. This is different. Fentanyl is different because it's actually being used to poison Americans. This is a poisoning problem more than it is a drug problem. It comes from these cartels, and they get the basic components for fentanyl from China. So this connection is very clear. And what frustrates me, what angers me, frankly, about what Biden did at the State of the Union and what he continues to do is pretend that all of these subjects are not related. He talked about the fentanyl crisis, as he should at the State of the Union, but he never drew that line from them to the actual cartels. And so I've been working with Democrats who are interested in national security, who care about this issue, on authorized use of military force against the cartels, on another bill that declares war on them in a sense, but goes after their financing, goes after Mexican officials who support them, increases penalties for being part of the cartels. It treats them like a terrorist organization legally without calling them a terrorist organization. There's side effects to that, and there's a reason we do that. So it doesn't surprise me the State Department is issuing those kind of warnings. These are some of the most dangerous people in the world, the Mexican drug cartels. They're the most well-armed, well-trained, well-funded, and they're right there at our border.
A couple of things the president did propose during the State of the Union to address the flow of fentanyl at the border. More scanners at ports of entry, working with shipping companies to stop the drugs from coming across the border, more scrutiny on the supply chain. Is there anything in the president's plan and some of those things that he laid out that you do support?
We support all those things, but we've been doing that for years. We funded those plans years ago before Biden was ever president. So he's not doing anything new. This is not a new announcement, this idea of increased scanning capabilities at each port of entry. We've been trying to not only develop those, but get them in place throughout our ports of entry for years now. So he's not doing anything new. He's not leveraging the Mexican government to actually help us solve this problem. He's not using the stick, right? He uses the carrot. He goes down there and he's really nice and says, "Oh, what can we do for you?" And they've come to some deals here and there. But all in all, he's not leading on this issue. You need to leverage the Mexican government. You need to say, look, if you don't take care of this, we're going to take care of it for you. And you really don't want that. That's what my legislation does.
So specifically, we're seeing county governments, sheriffs teaming up in small communities, in big communities, feeling as though they don't have federal support. They are fighting this problem amongst themselves. They're trying to push the cartels and some of the violence from one community to another where they're more equipped to deal with it. Do you feel as though the solution is falling on the backs of local law enforcement that are ill-equipped to deal with it? What is your message to communities as far north as Billings, Montana, that are seeing the cartels show up at their front door?
Yeah, I mean, it's terrifying. You're seeing it everywhere. There is no local law enforcement in any county except maybe the major cities that are equipped to deal with cartel activity. Nobody is. And so if we don't holistically and in a bipartisan way look at this as a common enemy with federal support, even military support, then we're going to lose this battle. It really is as simple as that. And this doesn't have to be partisan. There's a reason that I've made the legislation that I've promoted. I've made it separate from immigration reform. I've made it separate from border security reform, because I want this to be bipartisan. This is truly a common enemy that we need to face together as Americans, and they need federal support, especially in Texas. I mean, our border counties are definitely ill-equipped. It's not just police. It's not just law enforcement. It's our hospitals. It's our schools. All kinds of public services are overwhelmed by the mass migration, which again is facilitated by the cartels. The cartels are at the heart of all of these problems, whether it's mass migration or whether it's the fentanyl crisis. It's all the same.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.